Foreplay presented by Barstool Sports. I'm trying to talk as softly as possible, as you may see, due to the fact that, this podcast may or may not be going through an illness. So I think that if I talk with a lot of the vigor that I sometimes come in with, I will just go into a coughing fit. So I'm trying to be as tame as humanly possible right now. Good morning, gentlemen.
As you may hear, not as you may see.
Yeah, that's true. You can't. Well, I guess if you're watching on YouTube.
Ah, rats.
Mm-hmm. We do have a YouTube page. We're at over 100,000, Frank.
101,000. Thank you to all the competent listeners that went and hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate you. I know there's hundreds of thousands of you out there that have not yet hit the YouTube subscribe button. The amount of people that could follow that thing is endless. And I'm talking to you, Ryan, Brian, Dan,
Steve,
Sydney,
Sarah.
Go just hit. If your name's Sarah, Steve, Brian, Dan, Sydney, Ryan, go hit the subscribe button and send it to us.
I like that. I think every time we do the show, we should do a random name roll call. And if your name gets called by the grace of God, you have to go and subscribe to the
If your name is Finnegan,
brilliant.
If your name is Finnegan and you haven't subscribed to the Foreplay, like if you have the same name as a dog, you need to go subscribe to Foreplay.
Don't criticize the person, you can build them up a little bit.
I know I'm gonna get a message be like, yo, man, like my name's Finnegan. People call me Finn. It's a brutal name, but like, sometimes it's cool. But I subscribe to Foreplay, and here you go.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get the names that we all just listed so we don't repeat them again. And then I'm gonna have a new batch ready for the next show.
Yeah, it's a roll call, it's a call out. It's time for you to step up.
Names are always a little tough because you don't name yourself. So
Totally.
It's tough when you get roasted for having a shitty name because you didn't name yourself.
What percentage of the population overall changes their name when they become adults? Pretty low, right?
I think it's like, I don't know.
I think
it's probably really low, but also like somewhat surprisingly common.
Like I don't have any friends or family that changed their names when they became adults.
Like I feel like it's like someone knows someone that's done it. So it's like it's not like out of the ordinary, but like the number is probably extremely low. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like I feel like I knew someone that changed their name, but it was like they had a crazy name from like Lithuania or something.
It's also a childish thing. I feel like it's a childish thing to hate your name. And then when you become adult, you're more likely to be like, yeah, my name's fine. But when you're like a bitchy little 13-year-old terrible shithead person, you're like, my name sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like also like I went to school. I had a friend that's name was like Ming Huang, and his name like he's like just call me Brian. I was like, okay, like sure, that's his name. Like that's his name. Like I don't know.
Dude, I think my brother's prep school, his roommate was like something like that, and then they just gave him the name like Skylar or something like that.
Exactly,
they just like they were like, nope, like we get that's your name, but like. Here in America, we're just going to call you Skylar. And I didn't really get the details on it because it sounds messed up on 80 different levels. But I'm gonna drop that point right there. I'm just going to put that on the table and leave.
You just can't do that anymore.
No.
That's something you can't do anymore.
Yeah, no.
It's like it's not the same thing, but what is Andy Bernardi changes his name to Drew? Obviously, it's just like a different version of.
It's like I'm actually going by Drew now, and Jim's like, nope, nope.
I mean, Chad Johnson just went to Ocho Cinco.
He legally did that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so I think that from time to time we'll see it happen, but I don't know that many people are going out changing their names legally.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Eldrick Taunt, now just Tiger Woods. What a name!
Change. What a name!
Oh,
I wonder if Charlie will change his name to anything.
He's got too good of a thing going.
True.
Owens, that's another great thing going. Owens Mixers. So we're doing Transfusion Thursday. Get involved. # Transfusion Thursday. Thursday is a great time to drink, especially in the wintertime. Your Fridays, obviously, people get jacked up about Friday. But I do feel like as an adult, you make your way through Thursday, you're doing pretty well. You like to celebrate a little bit on Thursday afternoons, Thursday evenings. Friday's kind of a joke in the professional world in most professions. Like, yeah, you get some stuff done for sure. But Friday is no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Thursday, you get through that puppy, you get through your workday, you start cranking a couple transfusions, have yourself a great time, extend that weekend. And then Friday, like I said, it's kind of a joke. You can go through it hungover if you want to, might even make it a little easier. So go to Amazon. You probably heard of Amazon, very popular company, doing very well, very successful. You can get the transfusion Owens on Amazon. You get next day shipping. If you have yourself a little Amazon Prime, it is a wow kind of moment. And you can also go to owensmixers.com, but they've got a lot of different options. Transfusion with real grape juice, with ginger ale is delicious. We all know that. We've established that. But mint cucumber lime, grapefruit and lime, make yourself a little lurchy paloma.
Very nice. When that paloma hits your lips.
Drink. That's just such a lurch drink.
I'll tell you what, dude. Grapefruit is one of the most underrated value adds to a cocktail that you can have. It's delicious. It's got a little bite. It's refreshing. Feels like you're down south. It's everything that makes this world great. So go with a Paloma. Enjoy yourself. Treat yourself.
Owen, so Transfusion Thursday, we're going to pick some winners. So you can win some stuff. Transfusion Thursday, you might get a little retweet. You might get a little gift pack. Get involved. Thank you for the support. Thank you to Owens. And you can make a great cocktail really without having to do much. You just pour it in with liquor, the mixer, and boom, you've got an awesome cocktail. It's that simple. So big thanks to Owens.
People tag us in pictures of the transfusion all the time already. Might as well just throw a hashtag on it, Transfusion Thursday, and win some stuff.
Hey, it'd be crazy not to. Also, we're on Facebook. So if you guys haven't heard of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, back in the early 2000s.
Can we pause there if you haven't heard from Facebook?
Came up with this great idea, social networking, and really took advantage of it. So if you're not familiar with the Facebook world, we are on Facebook. We actually have a very active chat. It's called Fore 19th Hole. And I will say our guys are in there and they just want to tell people about their golf life. Like these people, these followers of Foreplay are in there. They're just posting like their shots from 2K. They're posting like pictures of where their ball lands on the green and being like, look at this fucking shot I hit into the 7th hole at this golf course. So get involved because I've been in there and people were breaking down what's going on with us. They're conjecturing about TaylorMade. There were rumors going around beforehand. It's actually a pretty active little community, even though it's only been, Facebook's new. So I think we have like 2,000 to 3,000 followers are in there or likes. What are they? I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck you call them on the platform.
I think a like counts as a follow in that world.
Okay, that's what I thought. So anyways, go to Foreplay 19th Hole on Facebook. I'm in there every day because I'm in quarantine. I'm bored as fuck out of my mind. So I'm in there just responding to shit that's going on all the time. So Foreplay 19th Hole. Frankie, I'm a little concerned if he goes in there, we'll never come out.
Yeah, I'm a big chat guy. I love the chat on YouTube. I miss the chat. We got to go live one of these nights. Yeah, I'll check out the Facebook group. I kind of went through it a little bit, and it's very active. It's extremely active for the 2,000, 3,000 people that are already in there. So yeah, go join it. Let's get that thing going. It's a good place to. I mean, people are like saying, "Is this a good place for buddies trips?" It is a really good community to get answers for golf stuff and gear and all that TaylorMade stuff. So go check it out.
Okay, Masters tournament. Fred Ridley, chairman, announced yesterday, I guess this to be 2 days ago from when you're listening, that the Masters will have limited fans, limited patrons. Pretty much expected. I mean, I think we all were hoping, a year ago now that like, oh yeah, by 2021 Masters, like it'll be fine. Not that way. I will say I'm a little confused because like, dude, I turn on some football games and it's almost a full crowd. I turn on other games, other events, and there's nobody in sight. I turn on one channel and it's fucking, you can't be within 2,000 feet of another human being. You can't leave. Turn on another channel and it's just massive crowds all over the place. So it's a little bit confusing, I must say. But the Masters, I think, announcing they're going to have limited patrons sounds about right.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry. Go, Trev. All right. Well,
that's weird.
The football.
That was a weird moment. That's tough.
Well, no, I mean, when we do the virtual thing, it just happens. It's the nature of the beast. But when you
take it away, take it away, Lurch.
Frankie, shut up.
Take this one.
So the timeline thing, that when you said that, it actually jogged my brain to when the four of us dummies started to announce like when we think this is going to be over. I think we were saying like July, August of last year. And then obviously that's not true. And it feels like not even this July or August it's going to be completely over. But the football game throws my brain into a tizzy, because if you saw what happened after Bama's win and the streets of Roll Tide Nation, I mean, that was the most preposterous thing I've ever seen during this quote unquote COVID era. Sorry, Trent, take it away.
No, I was going to say something similar. The football thing seems very inconsistent. I don't know, like there's not one thing that they're going off of, like this is how many fans you can have. But as far as the Masters having fans, I think we're finally in a place where as we move forward, things are at least supposedly getting better. Like, I know if you look at the numbers, things are not great. And that Alabama celebration after the championship wasn't great either. But with the vaccine getting out there, I think like last year, we really didn't know. At this time last year, we didn't know anything. But like once it all started, we really had no idea when things were going to get better. And now I think with the vaccine and people just with 10 months of knowledge on what goes on with the coronavirus, I think we are in a better place. So I think by April, things will be better, and it will make sense to have fans, at least a few patrons at the Masters, when a year ago there was no way you could have any fans anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, by a lot of accounts, it's a little disappointing of like the vaccine rollout, because they had put out numbers like 20 million at the end of December. That's not the case. But I will say, on the whole, as just an average human being like I am and like the other three of you are, the fact that they invented in less than a year an invisible fucking like warrior that goes inside of your body that fights off this other invisible warrior and doesn't allow you to get infected with this horrible, that is fucking amazing. Like,
yeah, I've thought about that before too. Like, I didn't know anything about vaccines before all of this because I had no reason to know about them. But in my head, when this was all going about and they were, contracting these companies to make the vaccines, in my head, I was like, well, what if they just can't do it? What if they go into the labs and they use the droppers and they mix all these chemicals and they come out the other side and they say, oh, we can't do it. I've come to learn that they've kind of perfected this vaccine over the hundreds of years and they can figure it out. It's more about time than it is possibility. But when you learn that they can just make a vaccine for something that is ravaging the globe, that blows my mind. And they did it in less than a year, like you're saying, Riggs. Like, that is incredibly impressive.
Dude, it makes me think too. Imagine
maybe they had the vaccine when they rolled out this virus. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to put on the tinfoil hat over here? You want to put on a tinfoil hat over here?
What are you doing?
Kidding. No, I was just trying to get a little Kevin Clancy on us. It is amazing. I don't know how they did it in a year. It usually takes 10.
Right. And what it makes me think then, because of the world that we live in, is like these motherfuckers went out there and they did all their little biology and they're able to be so incredibly impressive that they just invented something brand new on a microscopic biological level that's going to save the world and ultimately like get us over a global pandemic in a year or two. And I can't figure out, even though the physics is right in front of me, to just hit a golf ball straight. Like, it's infuriating that it's all, you could just watch a YouTube video and they just tell you how to do it. You could just watch a swing of Louis Oosthuizen, who's got a pretty simple little swing. It's like, no, you just bring the club back and then just drop it on this good plane and the ball will just go straight. And no matter what, I just can't do it. I'm fucking at the range. I got, protractors. Shout out Bryson. You got the fucking alignment sticks. You're trying everything on earth. And you just can't hit a golf ball straight to save your life. And you got people out here that can do such amazing things if they just focus a little bit on it. And all we want to do is be able to play good golf, and you can't do it. How is that possible?
Well, I don't think this group of four is ever going to be trusted to solve anything important. So I think we just leave that to the better people of the world and we trust those individuals because we seemingly can't do much well.
Dude, I say it to my buddies all the time who have real jobs, we call it, where it's like they have to do things from day to day.
People.
to get stuff done for this country to like move on, right? Like big companies, like my buddy has to input certain numbers into an Excel sheet. And if he just doesn't do that correctly, like something bad happens to this really big company. And like another friend's a PA, like if she just doesn't if she doesn't do good work that day or like isn't that good at her job, like people die. So it's like, I don't know. To me, like when
we're
I'm
almost like weathermen.
Well, like, I mean, I guess you could say the same, not the same thing at all, but like if I just put one of my friends in my seat in front of Dave Portnoy and he's like, do all this stuff and edit this pizza review by 6 o'clock and then give me a schedule and get me on a plane to Miami, they're going to just cry and run home. Like there is no way of doing that. Like, I guess like our stuff in our company is what makes it go, right? Like if we just don't do our job, like Barstool doesn't get to where it goes. So I guess it's all relative to what you do, but I often think about that. I always say like, you guys have like jobs, like real, like you have to go to work. You have a boss that's like, you got to get this shit done or else like we are fucked if you don't succeed. If you went to college for it didn't work and you now don't know this formula and like this Excel formula and like you don't draft up how much money we need to spend on this like medical equipment, our company's going under. Like that's on you, Rob. Like what the fuck? Like this kid's got to sit there at his desk like I gotta fucking do this.
Or I've got buddies that have people that work under them and I'm like, what do you tell them? What do you tell these people and what are they supposed to do? Like I don't understand. They just
Peter, what's happening?
It is. I think you're right that it is all relative to the job because Barstool comes with its own challenges and whatever. But the real world, I'm very scared of the real world since I've been out of it.
Really scared. Stuff's got to get done. It has to get done.
Do you guys have an incredible faith, like belief in humanity though, Loie? I think some people are so impressive. Like some individuals that are able to create and solve puzzles are just wildly impressive people to me. Now, there's obviously some people out there that aren't as good, but
totally
like maybe the four of us, but like the fact that we can, create the internet is just amazing. The fact that we can solve for COVID and create a vaccine is just amazing. Like it's amazing. And then probably it is a little frustrating where my brain power is just so limited and it stops because I couldn't solve either of those in a billion years. Just
I'm grateful that people much smarter than me exist. If that's the question you're asking, yes. It's like incredible. I do look at the world sometimes and I'm just like, it's got its problems for sure. But you look out there and like, we're doing the best we can.
You know what I don't understand? And it's like evolution. This may open up a whole can of worms, but like, I don't understand how for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years, humans were just like dumb survivors, essentially, right? Like they just lived and then they hunted and then they just like, why did it take like it? We've only lived in this world for like what? 60 years, 70 years of like really fucking crazy making inventions of like internet and electricity type crazy shit and fucking going to the moon and like why 2000 years ago was that not even an option? It was the same world, like same stuff was there, right? Like I just don't get like why stuff advances so fast like
but
that.
It's
like why it gets to a threshold and then all of a sudden it takes off. Like why did they not wear helmets in hockey until someone was like, oh yeah, like concussions? Like what, were they just dumber? That like a goalie didn't wear a mask. Like he didn't think like, oh, in 20 years they're actually going to wear masks on their face.
Well, no, but they also didn't raise the puck back then. So like goalies never got hit in the face, like ever.
But they did. Like there's that picture on like that magazine where the guy, the one goalie where his whole entire face is just reconstructed.
Yeah, like very, very rarely. But it's just the game was so different. I think you could argue that about anything. And what I would say is like, dude, like 2,000, 3,000 years ago, like 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, they were building giant pyramids and shit that they still can't figure out how they built them. Like they were moving the gigantic amount of stuff that they were moving and how they were like elevating it. But they still are just like, we don't know how the fuck they did that. And like
aliens
people go into
aliens
Rome in the time of like Roman antiquity. And it was just a giant metropolis of a city fucking 2,000 years ago. They could build that. Like that's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah, I think people have been innovative this whole time. It's just like steps. And obviously the internet made us go 1,000 miles an hour faster than we've ever like kind of innovated before because like Frankie, the goalies and masks and everything. It just took that one guy, Gary Cheevers, with a mask, and he like faked having, stitches on his face all over the place to create a mask for the NHL. And then to Riggs's point, like building pyramids. I mean, that's incredible. Like how the hell they ever did that is just amazing.
No, I know that there's been innovation for sure. Like obviously it's all relative to the time, but it just always blows my mind that like when it reached, it's like when one, I don't know how to explain like what I'm trying to say.
No,
like,
I hear you, but like I think the internet just made
like
it
it
so
took
the
civilization.
pockets of innovation. It just removed the pockets of innovation, so everybody now could communicate together.
Yeah.
And work together in different ways.
Did you play roller hockey last night?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, I did.
Good topic
yeah,
change.
Yeah, I did.
Did you buy a new helmet?
Yeah, I did.
How'd you do?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Well, my buddy works. Shout out to my buddy Mike at Pure Hockey, who just hooked me up with a bunch of stuff. Really good store over here in Long Island. But yeah, man, I played hockey last night, first time ever. It was quite an experience. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. My whoop was a 14.5 for the 2 hours. It was insane. 14.5 strain is nuts, and the whoop just knew that I played hockey. It was crazy. I was surprisingly average. Like I was surprisingly just like I blended in. Like I went out there. I did very short shifts because I got very winded. I'm talking 20, 30 shifts. 20-second shifts. I was in and out. Like I went up and down the ice or the rink once or twice, and then I was like forward, and I just called for someone. But like I got. The thing is, I know how to play. Like I know the game of hockey from watching it my whole life and playing some pickup hockey, like to the point where like I know like where I should go. It's just a matter of like getting composure. I was a little bit too fast and skating around too hard, and like I'm not I can't really stop that well on rollerblades. Like I'm learning how to do it. You have to kind of
impossible to stop in roller hockey.
You have to kind of like ice stop, and it's like I haven't like committed to that yet because I know I'm gonna fall on my ass. I mean, yesterday was quite literally my first like structured game of hockey of my life, and the fact that like I got through it was pretty impressive. We lost probably because of me. We like made a bad line change, and then I was too many men on the ice, and we got a penalty, and it was 2-2. It was 2-2, and we lost 3-2, and then we pulled the goal. It was 4-2. So like that was probably me. Guys were like mad on the bench, like this fucking kid like can't even make a line change. It's a scurry. It's like like guys were coming off, and like I was like I just jumped on, and there was like 8 guys on the ice. I was like shit. I tried to get back. They're like, no, you just have way too many. Like you just got to put someone in the penalty box now. So but yeah, I got into the front of the net and shit, and like at one chance I like the puck came off the backboards, and I like kind of just like shoved it towards the goalie. He made a nice save. Like I was there. I was in the right spots. I was lifting sticks on shots. Like I knew what to do.
So you weren't the worst player on the team then?
Maybe just because these guys have been playing together forever. And so we're in the lowest division, but because not many rinks or any rinks are open, just this one during COVID, every player on Long Island is coming to this league. And it's actually like a very competitive, like we're in the D division and the guys are fucking dangling. The goalies were outrageous. Like the one guy played for like Farmingdale State College or whatever they were saying. Like, so, I mean, it was good. I really like the guys I'm playing with, which I think is the most important part. Cause I'm like really happy to go back now, like next Tuesday or in the next game. But it was funny. A lot of the guys like noticed, like not like they were just like, oh, is that like Frankie from Barstool? And I thought I was going to get like a cheap hit or something. Someone was going to try and do something to me because the other team was going crazy. They're like one bite. Everyone knows rules, like under their breath and shit, like saying things at the face-offs, like circles and stuff. I was like, someone's just going to slash me. Like, cause they hate me. Like, I'm done. But no, it was good. I got to learn to keep my stick down. My buddy Danny just kept screaming that at me. So that's an amateur thing. I guess I was skating around with my stick up.
Was it tough to breathe? I remember I played roller hockey when I was a kid, and like we had like a roller fun place here in Jersey, and I was part of the River Rats team. But I remember like breathing in there. I would leave there so exhausted because the air, I feel like, didn't circulate well at this place.
It's a really big place. It's got 2 rinks in there back
to
back.
It's huge.
It's huge. So it's got 2 rinks. It's got like a bunch of stuff upstairs. The breathing was fine. Oddly, they had like the heaters on by like where you got changed and stuff. Like they don't have locker rooms open during COVID, but it was weird. It was really hot in there. But I ate Chipotle prior to my first game. and I was burping up like Southwest Mexican cantinas during the game. I almost puked at one point, dude. You know when you get like so winded that you feel like you're gonna puke? Like it's right there in your throat. Sure. I almost puked multiple times on the bench. I mean, at one point I took a 10-second shit. I was
Hockey's
out there.
A brutal workout. Hockey's like it's impossible.
Like I got to learn how to breathe too, because I was breathing through like my mouth the whole time, and like it's dry, and you get to the bench and you feel like you're. At one point, the lights were going out. Like it was just darkness was creeping in from right to left, and I was like, boy, oh boy, I'm out of shape.
You were resetting your CNS like Bryson DeChambeau. You're at the blackout.
Yeah. But then this dude sitting next to me is like this big Italian meatball. He's like, oh, you work for Barstools? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I don't know shit about you, but my son, my 18-year-old son probably does. I'm like, bro, what are you doing out here? But then the guy's like the best defenseman on the team. He's like out there just stopping every single attack. He's just so calm, cool, and collected. So there's older guys, there's younger guys. It was cool. I mean, it was fun.
How'd you end up on this team? How do you know these guys?
Just like it's my girlfriend's cousin's team that they've had forever, and they just needed a guy. They wrote on Facebook. There's like an invention on Facebook. They wrote on Facebook. They were looking for a guy. I like messaged them like, hey, I'd love to play. It's only 10 minutes away from my house, so it's really easy. I had I was using like Brock Nelson's stick, and so like everyone's just like, look at this fucking kid showing up using like Brock Nelson's stick, like playing fucking beer league hockey, and absolutely like falling all over the place out here. So yeah, it was.
Well, we had a Zoom meeting yesterday. And Frankie was telling these guys, because Lurch and Riggs obviously know more about it. And you had this helmet that apparently if you had showed up in, you were just going to get laughed off the ice.
Oh, I did.
A brutal Reebok helmet.
It was a 2011 Reebok street hockey inline helmet from back when I just played. It was bad. So you guys talked me out of that. Thankfully you did, because I looked at all the helmets of the guys on the team and they were much nicer, and the one that I ended up getting was just like a Bauer white helmet with a black cage. Perfect, really nice helmet. And then like I was at Pure Hockey, and I'm talking to the guy, my buddy who works there, and I'm like, dude, I just don't want to stand out. And he's showing me all the things that you could stand out with. Like he's like, you could get a red helmet with a half shield, and you could like hold like a mouth guard out of your mouth, and like hold these really big red gloves, and like you can change like the colors of your laces to like yellow and act like you're Ovi, and like then you just go out there and you're like a superhero, and everyone kind of hates you, but like you just get it done. When I first got to the game, the guys who were on the ice right before me, this guy was wearing just an Islanders outfit, a half shield, Islanders helmet, Islanders gloves. I'm like, who is this fucking guy? He's out there fucking moving around. I'm like, come on, dude, come on. So yeah, look out for me on the Outcast is our name.
Ooh, the Outcast.
Yeah, the Outcast, cool little black.
You guys
jersey.
are in last place.
We're 0-1-1. They actually lost a shootout the first game, so we're actually a pretty good team. It was more composed than I thought it was going to be. Like it was 1-1 for the longest time, which I thought was pretty cool. Like I actually like the fact that there's good goaltending. Like I didn't want to show up and just be like 10-0. Like you just get like routed. Like our goalie was sick. Like I was going up to him. Like I felt so cool. I was like hitting his pads like after a save. Lurch, you love that shit. I was like hitting his pads after a save. I don't even know his name. Like I was like, let's go tender. Like I was like, let's fucking
go. Dude, it's
go.
great. I mean, hockey's the best, dude. I mean,
yeah.
Like it's also so exhausting. I remember like if I ever play goalie now and there's like a power play in our zone and we're on a penalty kill and you have to be like in a crouch for 2 minutes or whatever. I come up after that winded. Like sometimes I go down to a knee if I have to play goalie anymore. Like it's a mess. But I just love the thought of you being like a little 6-year-old and going like he freezes it and you go tap his pads, be like, nice save, Kendi. And then my favorite image of that is like if the goalie's like any good, like you're saying, he's like looking at the face-off dot, and then you're like wobbling with your stick, like getting your like right wing spot, you know, like that is just good.
No,
stuff.
I actually the best thing I did, and we can end it at this. The best thing I did was when we had a face-off, I did the slow creep in so well it would blow your mind. Like I was like a right wing, and let's say like I would like skate around a little bit, and then I'd slowly creep in to right when the fucking ref dropped the puck, because I've seen that on TV so much. But like I did that little bend over, and then I found my lane right next to the other guy on the other team so perfectly that I actually think someone was like complimenting me on the other team, like, oh, Frankie looks good out here. Like,
perfect for you. A little pizza stop, actually.
Yeah,
because you like bring your blades together and then then stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then one thing I did that was maybe the best I'll ever do is I came down on the left side, and I saw one of my teammates on the right boards, and I flung it around behind the opposing net, and I hit him there, and it started a nice offensive zone time. I got to learn the game of hockey. I know I watched the game. You got to learn where to be. So it's exciting.
You learn, dude, in hockey, the simple skills are the most important. So literally, like, I know, like, they bust Whitney's balls. You made too many tape-to-tape passes. Like, dude, if you can make a good, solid 10-foot tape-to-tape pass to your, like, teammates with speed, you'll be a massive asset to your team.
Yeah.
And what you get, like, even, like, Lurch and I would laugh because on our men's league team, like, some of the guys that are more skilled are the biggest idiots out there, and they cost your team goals all the time because they just do stupid shit, and they don't understand. Like, no, we don't need you to go end to end and dangle through 7 guys. We actually just need you to make a fucking 8-foot pass to one of your better players with speed, and then that puck will come back to you, and you'll end up scoring or getting chances all day long. It's infuriating when you get people that are actually skilled, but they're fucking idiots.
I noticed that the best players on the team were, like, the most composed with, like I was going after a guy with the puck, and I was going 100 miles an hour, and then I was, like, out of position. And these guys, like, just stayed, like, the left wing just stayed, like, kind of in his spot. And then, like, he would intercept a pass and just, like, give it to the center, and then they'd go. But I was, like, making big turns and, like flailing around. And I'm like, just, man, like, if I just do, like, 10% of the work right now, I'll be in the right position. Like, what am I doing? It's all about positioning, not, like,
big time
going as fast as you possibly can. So I got to learn that.
Yeah, dude. So, Riggs, sorry, Trent. I cut you off again.
You guys know more about hockey, but I was just gonna say the important thing, he's got that heartbeat. You got that heart pumping. That's what we're looking for.
I felt great. Like, I came home last night and I was like, I felt healthy. Like, I was in the shower, like, I like, it was like 12 o'clock at night because it was a late game, like 9:50. We ended at like 11. And I'm just like standing in the shower being like, I could run a marathon right now. I felt like a human being. I did wake up this morning, like, almost a little nervous about COVID, but I think it was like almost like a workout hangover. Like, I was just like out of it. Because if you look at my strain, this is a little embarrassing. I haven't gotten over on my whoop over a 4.5 in the last, like, 2 weeks. And last night was like a 16. So
when's the last time you got a big workout? Months?
Like a year and a half or something. Like a year.
Yeah, I mean, so your body, that's not COVID. That's just your body.
I woke up like hungover. Yeah, like legitimately hungover. Like, my eyes hurt.
Muscles were,
my eyes hurt. I was like, oh boy. Like,
I bet tomorrow you're going to be very sore.
Yeah. Plus, we had this chiropractor in the Barstool office that was doing VIBs, lowering the bar, and he cracked the shit out of my back, which I love. Like, I love going to chiropractors, but I haven't gone in a while. And he's like, tomorrow you're going to wake up sore, which was yesterday. So the combination of waking up sore from a chiropractor, playing hockey for the first time in 10 years, and working out for the first time in a year. Yeah, today I'm hurting.
That's good, though.
Okay. We've got the Sony Open this week. Full field, not like the Kapalua situation, obviously. This is at YY. Really cool golf course. I think that I talked to Kiz a little bit. He said it's playing really firm, that it's not supposed to be windy, even though it's almost always windy there. This is the same course, same spot, if you recall, where they had the nuclear missile scare a few years ago. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, my God, yes. God, that's crazy, everything that happens and how much I continually forget. That was insane.
People, if you were in Hawaii at that time and you had a cell phone, you just got an alert that said there's a missile coming your way, and there's really not much you can do.
And it's nuclear, yeah.
Yeah. Remember the guy, there was that viral video of the guy, he was a guy on a golf course. He was just out there walking, and he's like, this is the way I wanted to go. I was out here playing golf. This is what I wanted. And, like, you just can't do anything. At that point, we might have had this discussion when it happened, but at that point, I don't even know if I want to get that alert.
Well, no, because if a nuke's coming and you're on a little island like Honolulu, you got zero options. So what's the point in knowing? Maybe you could text somebody that you love them. Maybe that's it. But I'd rather have peace of mind. But dude, remember the footage? People diving into like sewers and shit, like trying to.
Crazy.
I mean, it turned out somebody just hit the wrong button. Remember, somebody just literally hit the wrong button.
I just don't know how I don't know if we've ever gotten like the full details of like how there's just a button to alert people that nuclear, like you'd think there'd be some sort of both keys at the same time, turn them. But to me, like that's just a bad mistake that can't happen. Mistakes happen in life. That's something that can't happen. I mean, didn't people like die from heart attacks and stuff? Like people like went into like they're like people went into like shock thinking that the world was over. Like that's not okay. It's not.
Well,
that's not.
I don't know. Like to have access to that button, that should have to go to like 30 levels, like up to like
Exactly.
the president or like right below. Like if what we know is very limited. I don't know if anybody died or anything like that, but the fact that somebody or like it's like a associate manager type like execution of like said button is outrageous.
Well, it should and it shouldn't, because like it's a pretty urgent thing. So you can't be like, we got to go through 37 levels. Then what's the point of the button?
Right. I guess you're right.
I'm looking at the alert right now because it's got a whole Wikipedia page about it, obviously. It just says, emergency alert, ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
me. That's scarier than I remember.
What does anybody do in this room? If you're, I think I just lay down. I don't know what I do.
I try and like survive. I like go to a basement or something. I don't know. I go, oh fuck the whole time, and I just like kind of like get my family into like the bathroom. Aren't you supposed to go into the shower, or is that tornadoes?
It was 3 years ago exactly today.
I don't want to sound like a weirdo there. You guys don't understand. Like you never heard that. Supposed to go into the shower.
No, I've heard of that because there's no windows in the bathroom.
Windows. You got to stay away from windows because radiation.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal, I think.
Oh, I thought, and if windows break, you don't want to get hit with glass.
Totally. I think it's a combo, but I do believe you want to stay away from windows. You want to be in like, even you can find like a concrete staircase or something in the middle.
Do you want to be in the basement though? Because like, what if like things crumble on top of you?
Well, that was tornadoes. Tornadoes, you go in the basement. If your house has a basement, basements are very common in the Midwest because there's so many tornadoes that you just go down to the basement and you just, nothing's going to get to you. I mean, it might rip your house apart, unfortunately, but you'll be fine down there.
So do tornadoes not attack the ground, really? It just stays up top?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, in the Midwest, we have tornado drills. Like it's usually like the first Monday, I feel like, of every month. You have literally giant tornado sirens, and then you would go down into the basement, and during a tornado warning or a tornado drill, you would sit in the basement up against the wall where the windows are, because you have like the ceiling or kind of like the really high windows in the basement, so that in theory the glass would blow over you and onto the other side of the room, and your family would like sit up against the wall. It's pretty crazy. Tornadoes are no joke.
Yeah, in Cedar Rapids, it was the first Wednesday of every month. They test the sirens, and there's a baseball field close to where I grew up, basically right next to the house where I grew up, and there was a siren on one of the posts. And at the first Wednesday of every month, it would just blare right into our house. And it was, they test them every month because tornadoes are obviously very common in the Midwest. They're scary, man.
They're very, very scary. Okay. You got some stuff to get into for the year. I did mention last week that we were going to do kind of 2021, go through predictions, talk through kind of the year, just some general questions. One of the questions that I had was like, will Augusta National have fans? And then the announcement comes out.
Limited.
So the answer is very easy. They're going to have limited. Another question I had, will Jordan Spieth win a tournament this year?
No.
Yep.
I saw he made a change. I don't know if it was true. I saw a Twitter rumor that he made a change, that he went to Butch.
It was a weird thing because I saw that he was working with Butch, but then I've seen all clarification since, including Butch himself, Instagram, that like it's not true. So I think that Butch was like taking a look, but ultimately he's not really working with Butch. And then I saw a few people had some good points on Twitter where they're like, why is it always so secretive? And like, why can't the coach thing in golf just be straightforward? Why is it always so weird? Like Tiger's always been weird about it. I feel like Spieth, like these guys are weird about who's technically working with it. It's like, why can't they just be upfront about exactly what's going on with the coaches? Why has it always got to be a weird secretive thing?
Yeah, it's
And
I would love to know how that works. Like the fact, because it sounded like Spieth visited him and then Butch rejected it from what I saw, but I don't like. Now, does Butch have the power to do that? Like, is he that?
Well, I don't think he rejected it. I think Butch was just taking a look. I don't think he was like the breakdown that I got was that like Butch was just at one point, maybe they're in the same place or whatever. Butch was like taking a look at Spieth's game, but that like Cameron McCormick and everything was that's still his team. Butch was just taking a look. Not that like Butch rejected him, but all the reports were that like Jordan Spieth has Butch Harmon looking at or working with his game, which would then signify that like Spieth has moved on. He's gotten rid of Cameron McCormick. He's not doing this hardcore technical thing that everybody in the world's freaking out about. And instead, it came out that like the latest interpretation I've got was, again, that Butch was just like taking a look. I don't know if it was just circumstantial, if they're in the same place. I don't know. Butch was just like taking a look, and then but there's no like formal change to Spieth's coaching lineup or whatever.
Well, then you got to wonder, like, what's actually happening in his camp? Like, when he goes to see Butch, what does McCormick actually think about that? Like, and I think that the reason it gets weird sometimes is you have to be sensitive to your current coach if you are thinking about making a change. And I feel like that causes strife. But if Butch is just taking a look and McCormick is still on the team, then if it's clear to all those people what's going on, then it's not that big of a deal. But obviously, like, the scuttlebutt starts where it's like, oh, is he moving on to Butch? What's McCormick think? Is McCormick mad? Like, is it a divorce? Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, what's really going on?
Yeah.
This all just cements my idea that he's not going to win a tournament. This is just more mental craziness in the Spieth world. Who's coaching him? What's he going to do? Is he's changing his swing? The guy already can't get it done with a consistent current coaching plan. He's just a mess. I want him to win. I don't want a world in which Jordan Spieth isn't a contending golfer, but I just think with how good the competition is right now, I just can't picture any tournament or me going into any tournament this year saying Jordan Spieth's going to win this one. Like, there are just so many other good golfers that have their shit together right now that I would pick over Jordan Spieth. It's not even funny.
I think he's going to play a ton of golf this year, and I think he's going to win one.
I think so too.
Really?
Maybe it's at the John Deere. Maybe he returns his glory at the John Deere.
Well, that wouldn't be fair. Can we say that if he wins the John Deere, it's not a real tournament?
Check that was a PGA Tour tournament, my friend.
I mean, that's like, you might as well join the fucking Eisenhower Red amateur local men's bocce club than golf tournament.
Might get a free beer out of it, finding a Borelli's.
Maybe. I'm just saying that's not a real fucking tournament.
You're not a real tournament, dude. You know what I mean?
True.
You know what I mean?
He's not. I don't see him winning one. Even I just don't see. It's like maybe.
I think, like,
should we record these? We should get these on paper. Whatever our takes are, we should have a little tally.
Make a tally, Lurch.
I will.
I think he's gonna win, obviously, again. So it's like, why wouldn't it just? He's got a whole year. Like,
what tournament was it last year? Was it the PGA where he said, "When I'm standing over the ball, I don't know where this thing's going."
That's the U.S. Open.
Like that's not a guy who's going to win in the next 12 months.
He said, he said that was tough at Winged Foot. He's like, I can't tell you how uncomfortable of a feeling it is standing over the tee, over the ball on the tee at the U.S. Open and having no idea where it's going. It's like, yeah, you don't want that. But he's got a whole year. That would be a year and a half difference.
Trent, are you a yes or no? Quickly, so I can make my tally. You're a no. Okay, so Riggs and I are in favor. Trent and Frankie are no's.
Will Ricky Fowler win this year?
No.
Say no.
I'm going to say yes, but I don't even want to root for it. But I'm going to say yes.
Because you're just for the tally sake, or
for the tally sake, for winning and losing, for foreplay pride.
Wait, I'm a no.
If you genuinely thought he was going to lose and not win, then like you'd want to put in what you actually think, is like that's.
No, I think he's going to win. I just don't. I'm not a Fowler guy.
Okay.
Don't like Ricky Fowler?
I'm not a huge Fowler guy. He's not on like the top of my list of like people I root for each week.
Yeah, but there's now you genuinely don't want him to win, you said.
No, I didn't say. Now you're throwing words at me. I never said that. There's just other people.
I think I heard you say. I think I heard you say the word genuinely twice. Actually,
nope.
I'm just kidding.
I genuinely don't like you guys and the way you're throwing words at me.
Well, we've had the back and forth on this podcast about him in terms of how he feels about this podcast, and I think that's where Lurch is coming from.
I've said no to the first two. I have a yes coming up if the question is going to be asked. I just want you to know that.
I'm a no on Fowler.
So I'm the only yes guy on Fowler, huh? Well, looks like I'm a huge Fowler fan in my eyes.
Will Dustin Johnson win a major?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. It's not going to be the Masters. I think that he really, really took advantage of a different Masters this year. I think guys are going to come to play come April. I think it's going to be a totally different field, totally different leaderboard come this upcoming months, the next one. I do think that Dustin Johnson, if he continues to play even slightly what he was doing towards the end of this year, he is going to go on a hell of a run. And he's also a Team TaylorMade guy. I mean, we've seen him up close, what he can do. If he can even come close to hitting the ball as good as he was hitting it when we were with him, he's going to win maybe all the majors. But yeah, I do think that he wins it. I think he wins one. And if I had to guess which one, I'd say it would be the U.S. Open.
Wow, little Torrey Pines.
Yeah, I do think
I'm a yes for him as well.
Yeah,
he wins a major.
Do you think he repeats at Augusta?
That wasn't the question. I'm going to say no to a repeat, but I think he wins a major this year.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't think it's crazy, but I think the odds are I'm taking he wins 1 out of 4, not picking the one that he wins. So I'm going to take DJ wins a major, yes.
And Trent, you're a yes too?
I'm a yes, yeah. And this wasn't either, but I think Morikawa gets another one, and I think it might be the Masters.
Wow.
Wow, hot take.
I know we're talking about Team TaylorMade things, but like I love Colin Morikawa so much. He's so mature that I think it's time he's gonna win that one.
I got a good one for you guys.
Tiger Woods is gonna win the Masters this year.
That'd be great. I got a good one for you guys. The current world top 5 at the beginning of the year was, I don't know if it changed in the last week, I doubt it, but it was Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau. Who of those 5 won't be in the top 5 at the end of the year?
Well, the note taker is now scrambling. Hold on. Will you repeat that question?
Lurch, this is going to be recorded and we'll have it forever.
I don't get why you're doing that. Like, it's literally just on record forever.
You're asking us to repeat something that literally just got recorded on the internet. And
the show's not for your tally. The show is for people listening. So if you ask them to repeat it, it's actually harms the show.
Well, yeah. I bet you there's one person out there, maybe Finnegan, who missed that question.
And he can just hit back on the 15-second thing and he just hears the question.
It's not live.
You know what's crazy is I think the most likely person to not be in that top 5 is Rory McIlroy.
No, I disagree. See, that was going to be my yes. I think Rory McIlroy is going to win a major this year.
Wow.
I think Rory McIlroy is going to come to play in 2021. This fucking guy has the skill. And just like Jordan Spieth has the skill, I get it. It's somewhere in that brain, but Rory's still there. Top 5. This guy can play still. He is a gamer. He's going to get it done. Rory McIlroy does not make the money that Rory McIlroy makes, does not have the life that Rory McIlroy has. He's not who Rory McIlroy is without being Rory McIlroy, if that makes any sense. Like, he is a fucking superstar, and he's going to just be that this year. He's a superstar. We're not talking about Rory McIlroy enough. He's a superstar. He's Dustin Johnson. He's Tiger Woods at times. Like, he is that guy. He's that boy, Trent. And he just needs to get back to that fucking level. Once he tastes it on that Irish tongue, that Northern Irish tongue, once he tastes it, he's going to go fucking crazy.
That exact same sentiment everyone has had for the last 6 years.
Fine.
Everyone has felt, and he's won big tournaments. He won the Players. He's been playing great. He's still in the top 5. But the way you feel right now about Rory McIlroy, is the way we've all felt for the last 6 years.
All right, well, it's an odds game, and one of these days he's just gonna do it. It's an odds game. Like Rory
McIlroy.
Rory ain't going anywhere. Rory didn't get his fucking powers sucked up into a pumpkin. He's fucking still Rory McIlroy.
You're talking to me like I'm not the biggest Rory guy on the show.
Yeah, I don't think you are the biggest Rory guy on the show. I think I just overtook that.
I want it to happen. It's just we've had this. I feel like it's Groundhog's Day every year with Rory, where it just doesn't happen.
Rory's gonna win a major this year, and we're gonna be fucking happy about it. We're gonna be like, this fucking guy is back on top. He's gonna win a major this year.
Brooks Koepka has won 4 majors since the last time Rory won a major.
Brooks ain't gonna win one this year. Brooks falling off my pedestal pretty quickly. Like he's just like a. Don't you guys agree? Like I don't think about Brooks anymore when it comes to these things. I don't know why. Like I do, but he's not the Brooks of last year or 20. You know what I mean? Like of 2019. He's just not.
I don't know. Like
he got hurt. He's out. He was out for a while. He missed a couple tournaments. It's just he's lost that edge to me.
It does seem like life's pretty good for him, and maybe that like focus isn't there, which I think isn't the worst thing. Like, you know, they're enjoying life, they're people. I think that goes to Rory as well. I think like he's in a good spot. Like life is good for him, and it's not like golf is the sole purpose. I do think Rory probably slipped. If there's one person of that top 5, I would say it's probably Rory that slips out of the top 5.
See, I think to your point where you're like Brooks is living life right now, I think Rory lived life for the last couple of years, and he like slipped into I'm Rory McIlroy world. I think Brooks is in that right now. I think Rory's like not happy with being Rory McIlroy world right now. I think he's like fine with being top 5, making money, winning a couple tournaments. He wants to be the best of the best. Like I think his little like parade around life is over, and he wants to dominate again. It's too like Trent's saying, it's 5-6 years now. He's got to win a fucking major.
I'm gonna say
Sense.
I'm gonna say Rory does not win a major this year. I'm gonna say Bryson and Rahm are not in the top 5 at the end of the year.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think Rahm's a lock to stay there. I know he's
I'm going based off his terrible equipment switch. So I think that's going to be
I agree with that.
Extremely difficult to overcome playing that inferior equipment.
And Bryson, that's obviously a very interesting decision to make, whether or not he'll still be in the top 5. I don't want an injury to happen. Nobody wants an injury to happen, but that blackout comment made me think even more that this guy is just overworking his knees and his back and his brain. And I just worry, and that's been the worry ever since he put on all the weight. But it hasn't happened yet, thankfully. But boy, he's putting so much stress on that body so often that the only thing that's going to knock him out of top 5 is an injury.
It does Bryson even make it through 2021? It should be the question. Whether it's like a mental hiatus that he has to take or something, like does he even make it through this season? Like we have a full year of Bryson being outrageous Bryson. Who knows what's about to happen with that? Like, I mean, come on. The guy's a fucking ticking time bomb.
He's just been redlined for 18 to 20 months.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy.
Like, you know the scene in Fast and the Furious where the first one where Paul Walker is in the eclipse and he hits the NOS and the car breaks down and the floor bottoms out and like the car breaks down? That's sort of where I feel where we're at with Bryson.
Exactly.
I will say this, which is amazing. Like, so I took, that list was because we were going to do it last week. Since then, so in 1 week, Xander has moved to 4th. Colin Morikawa has moved to 5th. Bryson is 6th, and Rory is 7th.
Ooh.
So like,
he's already out.
My thing was not, it is hard to look at those 5 names and be like, wow, these guys aren't. But how often do you think the same 5 guys are in the top 5 at the beginning of like never? That has to never happen. So clearly there's going to be shuffling, and it's hard to pick. Like it's hard to pick Rahm. Like that's a very risky choice. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to pick Rahm. I'm going to pick Bryson. I'm going to pick Rahm. Will not be in the top 5.
I'm sticking with Rory.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Rory for me as well.
You right?
I say Bryson out of it.
Will Tiger Woods win a tournament?
Yes. Yes. He's a storybook player. He's a storybook human being, and his story's not ended yet. He's just figures it out. There's no analytics. There's no statistics that know what a mid-40s bad back surgery filled man can do when he's Tiger Woods. There's no book on that. Like most people like at this age with his injuries, they just say no chance, but that's not Tiger Woods. Sorry.
You're just not going to get too many shots at it. You know?
No, you're not.
Like, how many tournaments does he play this year?
Joey likes the way he looks. He liked the way he looked at the end of the Masters. He says that he's got a really good 2021 coming up if he can stay healthy.
He does. I think he wins the tournament.
I'm going to say yes because I don't want to be the guy who says no. I'm very much hoping that it happens. The entire golf world is hoping that it happens.
Watch your fucking tone right now when you finish the sentence.
The only thing I worry about is what everybody else worries about is he plays a limited amount of tournaments and he has to do so much to get that body ready for every tournament and then play 4 stellar rounds of golf that I hope it happens. But as you get older and as that body gets older, the odds are definitely stacked against
the odds for who though? A regular human being? A fucking muggle?
A guy who has to wake up at 3 a.m. to get ready for.
Yeah, but that guy, what's his name? His name's Tiger Woods. That's my point. Is like you're comparing it to mere muggles. Got like regular dudes that age with that back pain that have to wake up at that time to get ready. Those are regular fucking dudes. Those are guys who grab the fucking newspaper from the news rack and go and fucking crunch numbers in their cubicle. This is Tiger fucking Woods. This is Tiger fucking Woods. The best that's ever done it.
I said
he sets the bar for what guys at his age with his back pain do. He sets the bar. It's never been done yet.
Making a lot of sense right now.
He sets the bar.
I said yes.
The book, it's literally like if you're reading like a history book, the book is halfway, like it's still being written each day with Tiger Woods. You get that? There's nothing to reference. There's no reference page.
Oh, hey,
boy, you get that?
Don't you mansplain Tiger?
Right? I'm gonna tiger-splain you right now. A little tiger-splaining.
We know that you mansplained to Liz Gonzalez a couple years ago.
I did not mansplain to Liz Gonzalez. No, I didn't. No.
You literally said, "Do you get that?" to me and her. I said yes, so I think he's gonna win. I'm just the other side.
Liz Gonzalez said that it was better to be a Yankee fan the day that we lost the playoffs than it was to be a Red Sox fan. I said that's just incorrect. They're on their way to the World Series. We haven't made it to the World Series.
Do you get that?
But that's just the way I talk. I'm like, do you understand? I would say it to anyone. I'd say it to fucking whatever. Gandhi.
My favorite part of that clip, and if anybody hasn't seen it, it's somewhere out there, is Jared Carabas is on the screen and he bails out like the building on fire.
Oh man.
I'm saying yes to Tiger Woods. I just wanted to give the other side of the coin because that's what people are going to say.
Now I'm saying I'm rooting for him, but he's not going to win a tournament this year.
Okay. Record that. Did you record that on your tallies?
Did you tell that?
The whole thing. I can't keep up with the top 5 questions.
So you're just going to eat crow, as they say, when it comes.
No, because I just said I'm rooting for him wholeheartedly.
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, you don't get it both ways.
I'm competitive. I'm here to be the top, guesser here in terms of what's going to happen in 2021.
You made your bed. You got to go. You got to go sweepies in it.
That's fine, and I'm rooting for him to win.
No, you're not. You're quite literally a competitor who wants to win this tally off. You are rooting for him to lose that tournament. The tournaments.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm a fanboy as well.
Doesn't matter. Then you should pick him to win a tournament.
Well, I didn't.
All right, so can't have it both ways. You will eat crow.
The U.S. Open Tour will obviously be electric.
Oh my god.
Electric. Lakers.
I want people to guess what rank Matthew Fitzpatrick is in the world right now.
First off the top of the dome, Matthew Fitzpatrick is, oh man, actually, I don't want to go first. I want to say
I'll say 24.
I was going to say 26.
I was going to say 37.
16th.
Woo!
Whoa!
Yeah. Dude, I looked that up. I was stunned. Like our boy, he did win.
He won that orb thing.
Yeah.
That's staff.
He won with the staff, the wizard staff, but 16th in the world for our boy. That's higher than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Good for him.
We got to get Matthew Fitzpatrick back on the show because, like, I got to talk. We have to check in with him every so often.
Yeah, Andy's had the, he like attacked Bryson since the last time we had him on the show.
Yes, we have to make sure he's still our boy.
He has become, every time I was watching Golf Channel the other day, and every time Bryson gets brought up, Matthew Fitzpatrick also gets brought up. He has become the token guy he's the only guy who said a sort of negative thing about Bryson. So he has now become the guy who gets mentioned anytime Bryson gets brought up. And I'm not sure if that's fair or not, but he's definitely that guy.
Yeah. Poor fella. Poor little bloke.
That's such a different body type than Bryson. So it's like perfect to have that as like the 1-2 punch. When you say
like
something negative. You.
It's like at any moment you could just snap me into like oblivion, but so could Bryson to Matthew Fitzpatrick. But in like a regular, what happens is like society and the world we live in allows people like me and Matthew Fitzpatrick to kind of talk our shit because like you're just not going to touch me.
More so ever than today than
more so before. Today than ever. Maybe in like maybe in the 1930s if we're fucking like on the line building Ford cars and I say like, hey, you fucking fat ass, you're gonna murder me. You're gonna murder me.
Your head and slam it off the conveyor belt.
Yeah. So that's just now. Did I get that timing right? Where was the conveyor belt?
Early 1900s.
So 1930s. That was a little too late then, maybe.
Too late. Yeah. The Model T. I think that was like 1905 or something.
Okay.
Like that. Maybe I could be early on that.
Right. You're perpetually the sibling who is as close to Lurch as you can get, being like, I'm not touching you. I'm not.
Yes, exactly.
You and Matt.
And then he fucking pushes me into like the kitchen. I go sliding into something, and then I go, Mom.
That's so true, man.
Oh man.
You play that character well.
Store.barstoolsports.com. Click on the golf link. Go to Foreplay. We've got a lot of good options. We've had them in there for a while now. But if you don't recall, we have Peter Millar items, we have hoodies, we have golf accessories, head covers, all kinds of good stuff. And now we added the most Lurch item of all time, which is a vest hoodie thing that somebody responded and I laughed out loud and it just was like, took about an hour. And then I saw a reply tweet that just said, this is the most Lurch merch item I've ever seen in my life. And it did come from Lurch.
I will say it's a great product. Well made in the US, I think. But yeah, the hoodie vest is a combo that I've never seen before until this product, and it's comfy and it's warm. So, go get a vest with a hoodie and look like me, I guess. I don't know.
I think it looks good. I think it looks great. I think it looks cool. What's the purpose behind? Like it's almost like, what's the word? It's like an oxymoron. Is it an oxymoron? or what's the thing where it's like you're trying to stay warm but you have no sleeves on? So it's
right.
It's a paradox.
Paradox, is that it? But that now to the point of buying this thing, it's a trendsetter. Like you walk around with this thing on and people are asking questions. They're like, what is that? Where'd you get it? That thing's pretty cool looking.
I will say too, the sleeveless move in golf is huge because you still have your mobility, even though your main torso remains warm.
I guess the idea of a vest is what I'm kind of saying anyway, right? Like it's a limited amount of fabric. It stops at your arms, but it keeps you warm. So I guess like the idea of a vest has always been that, but we all wear vests because like, they look good.
Well, there's different temperatures too.
And they're easy to wear on the golf course. This actually is a good product now. And like, if you know what it's perfect for, you know what this fucking thing's perfect for? The day we were at the day we were at Torrey Pines. We haven't talked about that.
It's okay. You can talk about it, Frank.
Man, that was just like, that was a moment where I didn't know what I was saying. We were at Torrey Pines. We're doing a little bit of filming for Behind the Greens, US Open, the whole thing. We're out there. Beautiful fucking property. We met Bill, the superintendent. The whole team over there is amazing. Can't wait to get back out there. But this product right here, what's the company called?
Solo Golf.
Solo Golf.
Solo Golf.
When you're at Torrey Pines, especially in a time around January, it was like what, 65 degrees, maybe 60 degrees. perfect temperature, a little bit of an overcast, and then all of a sudden, bang, some sort of storm rolled in, wind was picking up. I mean, it was fucking chilly. And if you're playing that golf course and you start off with like that 60, 65 degree and it cuts down to like 50 with a little bit of a wind chill, you throw that hood up and you get that little, just like that protection on your neck, you immediately feel better and you feel like you're wearing something that's protecting you from a storm. Then all of a sudden, 10 seconds later, it's the nicest sunset in the world. You take that hood off, it's back to 65 in San Diego. You're fine. You're just wearing a vest now. You're just wearing January attire. So that it should be the official wearing of Torrey Pines is the solo hoodie vest.
Well, and if science is to be believed, most of the heat leaves from the top of your head, right?
Isn't
that what they say? So that's a good way to keep all that heat in, and you got your freedom to swing your golf club.
So look, we got a lot of options. We got a lot of items in there. The solo golf vest is one of them, and there's a ton more. So we got polos, we got hoodies, like I said, we got quarter zips. We've got beanies, we got hats, we got a million things. So go check out store.barstoolsports.com. Go to Foreplay, go to golf. You'll see all of our options. You can also go scour the entire site because we got hundreds and hundreds of items in there that are all really good things. So store.barstoolsports.com. Thank you for the support. Will Xander Schauffele win a tournament this year?
I think that's got to be a yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
That's an easy one. He definitely wins one. I would put him up there as maybe the favorite to win a tournament this year. It's like him, DJ. Yeah, it's just the top five. Him, DJ, JT.
Oh, yeah. Wow, really? I'm going to say, yeah, obviously. I think so then it would be like, does he win a major?
I'm going to say no on that just for odds sake. Like, I just think he's going to have a good year. Maybe he'll win a couple tournaments. Maybe he'll be a favorite going into one of these things. But I'm going to say no just for the tally because I just think it's harder to win. Like, one of these, like, the odds are he won't.
For Xander?
Then it becomes like if he's –
correct. I'm rooting against him.
If he's – it becomes like if he's one of the most likely person to win a tournament, like – wouldn't that just apply to, so it gets tricky. I mean,
yeah, I'm just saying like based just numbers right now. Like I'm just gonna say no just for the tally game. Like I just think no. He's got 4 chances. He's just not gonna win one of them.
Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Plus Rory's.
I'm gonna say yes.
He wins a major.
I'm gonna say Xander wins a major this year.
I think if he has any chance of winning a major, it's at Augusta. I don't know why, but I just think that
he had crazy buzz heading in this year.
Yeah,
crazy
buzz going into it. Last couple of years, he's been in the mix.
He's got the mind for it too. He's got like the composure for it. Like Rahm is a ticking time bomb. Everybody knows that. Like he could blow up at any point, literally.
Rahm will never win a Masters.
Wow.
You sure about that? I'd say Xander wins one. Xander's going to win a major this year. I think he opens it up by winning Augusta.
Wow.
He's just got he's level. He's one of those level guys. He's like Morikawa too. Morikawa level. Those guys can win.
Matt Wolff. Does Matt Wolff win a tournament this year?
Picking all my favorites. Yeah, he wins one.
How many tournaments do these guys enter?
Between best Tigers
and guys will play 20 something, 25 maybe.
I think Sanjay M last year, 2 years ago, played like 35 tournaments.
Yeah, that guy plays every fucking week.
Yeah, he does.
He's a machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the stats on how common is it for these guys to win tournaments each year?
Not common. No. I mean, DJ set a record for winning like a tournament for the last, 15, 20 years, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Like odds are these guys won't win one. Is that what we're doing right now? Like odds are that like Matthew Wolff will not win a tournament this year. Right. So it is hard. Like I feel like the more we keep asking these questions, like we keep saying yes to these guys that we think are going to be really good golfers, but I'm going to say no to Matthew Wolff winning a tournament.
Right. Well, the odds are that they won't win, but in a game of golf, the odds are that the best player is going to win. And we're talking about the best players.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So their bad odds just get a little bit better.
Right.
I think that's correct.
I'm going to say no on Matthew Wolf, but I do like Matthew Wolf. I think he really grew on me when we did the TaylorMade video, like big time. I think everyone's going to see that. I mean, he was fucking awesome with us, and that's going to be arguably like that. I think people are going to pick and choose what their favorite ones were. I think it's going to be hard to find a better video than us with Matthew Wolf. He was so fucking cool, man.
Which the reason you're saying it like that is because you were not anti Matt Wolf, but what you said some things on the show, but that you were not the.
I called his swing like an ugly orangutan swing or something like that, comparing it to a beautiful swan or like something with his arms flailing. I couldn't remember what I said, but it was something. I said that he just had no fluid motions. He didn't look good. I actually told that to his face during the video. It didn't really come out that good. I kind of like got nervous. I was like, I've talked some shit about you.
Yeah, he kind of just ignored you. He was like,
yeah, he did.
Yeah,
like, oh, really? I just hit the ball.
Yeah. I'm going to say he does win. I agree that it's getting ridiculous that I'm picking everyone to win, but these are the better players. So I'm going to say Matt Wolf wins the tournament this year.
Mark it down, Lurch.
Yeah, because like there's just going to be like a handful of like just regular dudes out there on the tour that win. You know what I mean? Like they're just
tons.
Like
tons.
The odds of Brendan Todd winning, it's like the guy drives a 260 and he goes out there and like dominates the tour for a month. It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
There's just so many good golfers. It just blows your mind how good these guys are. And like the difference between the top 5 and the top, 100 week over week is just so small.
Like a guy like Abraham
and 4 strokes.
Like Abraham Answer can just come in and just like win a tournament. He's just a good golfer.
Even though Frankie tried to cancel him after Tiger beat him.
He should have quit the game of golf. I stand by that.
He's still grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will a tournament get canceled this year?
No, it won't get canceled, but there will be like a significant, like maybe like something will happen where they were supposed to have fans and then like last minute they canceled it. It'll be a whole shit show. I do not think that anything will get canceled though. I think that the tour needs as much revenue as possible. They probably took a huge hit last year with no ticket sales and all that shit. No chance they get canceled. I'm saying no chance.
Yeah, I think they've got it figured out enough now where they won't have to press the red button on a tournament. Yeah, they'll have to scale some things back. It won't be, some tournaments won't be like, how they used to be, obviously, but I don't think it takes something pretty bad for them to cancel a tournament this time around.
Yeah, unless some fucking missiles coming our way or something. I don't think they're canceling it. Like that, this will be tough to listen back to if like we're now living in like a war world or something in like 6 months. We're on like no chance. So yeah, I do think there's no chance.
Yeah, I don't think if something gets canceled, we're in a horrible spot because
really
then
bad.
Something else drastic has happened. I think a better question for that, like in that vein, is do we ever get the full attendance this year?
No.
I don't think we get full attendance for 3 years.
Oof.
Like I just don't know how you just like flip a switch. I've said this a million times, like about like how just like just because a calendar changed, or maybe like you're just gonna like MetLife Stadium at a Giants game is just gonna have 100,000 people in it, like just like the next year or something. Like we're gonna have to slowly bleed into it. I think it's gonna be like 25%, 50%, every other seat. Like concerts are just gonna come back. Like people are just gonna be. I want this so bad. I want it so bad. I want to go to a Foo Fighters concert.
It's a little different because it's outdoors.
Yes, it is. I just don't know if you're gonna see a grandstand packed up at Scottsdale, like for fucking Phoenix Open or something. Like I just don't see it.
I don't either. I think it's going to be – I think we're until like maybe next year's Masters-ish around there is maybe the next time that we have like full capacity golf fans again.
Yeah. I don't know anything about anything, but I was going to say about 18 months before we're talking about potentially full tournaments and, sporting events.
What do you think, Large?
He's on mute.
You're on mute.
I was coughing there for a little bit. But I think it's you lucky alien that doesn't pick up these things. I would say that I think we're outside of this year. I think the optics of a venue saying we're 100% open, like, I don't know who can make that decision, but I don't think anybody out there has like the balls to say that, because I think the optics look so bad. So I think it's outside this year for sure, which is sad.
It is sad.
Yeah,
that's pretty depressing. That's pretty depressing.
I just can't see it. Like we're still living like NHL is in a bubble this year up top. Like the Canadian teams can't play. Like they're playing 56 games in NHL schedule this whole year. Like NBA games are getting canceled. I just saw Atlanta versus Phoenix is canceled tonight. Like it's 2021 and it's just as bad as it was the day that it came out, where those teams were getting canceled 9 months ago, 10 months ago. So I just don't see it happening, especially with big leagues with a lot of liability and all this shit, and just can't see it happening, unfortunately.
Boy, is that a depressing way to bring it into the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go to a concert so badly. I'm just like, if they have them, I'm just going. Like whenever they're on, I'm just going, man. Like I just have like at some point, maybe that's what's gonna do is people are just gonna do it, right? Like you're just gonna go. They're gonna open it up, and whoever wants to go just goes. At some point, you have to make that decision. At some point, you're gonna have to just go.
I get a question for people. As I'm scrolling through golf rankings and I'm looking at, the top players in the world. So Doug Gim, obviously a friend of the podcast, friend of Riggs, playing video games. What is his world ranking, and will he win a tournament this year?
Guessing his world ranking?
Yes.
I'm going to guess Doug is like 120th in the world.
Okay.
And no, he's not going to win a tournament this year.
I'm going to say 160th, and no, I think he doesn't make a tournament, maybe misses 4 cuts.
I'm going to say 145.
So he is 388. And, but like if I think of him as potentially winning a tournament this year. Like, and my only point there is like, there's so many guys they could potentially win. I think he's on the outside, but like, I think I wouldn't hate a season-long bet on Doug Gim winning a tournament this year. I think there's good value in that.
Dude, if Doug Gim wins and you call that shot, that would be pretty incredible.
That would be big time.
He almost won the U.S. Amateur. He was an absolute savage for Texas in college. And then in talking with him, he was saying how like last year he had a ton of injuries. So he had like a bad 1 year stretch, but then like late last year, he started to make a bunch of cuts and play really good golf because he was like healthy again and working on his game. So like that type of stuff out of context, you just wouldn't even factor that in. But I do think because when you look, he's 388th or whatever, and like you'd laugh, like, no chance this guy wins the tournament. But actually, he's probably closer to like a top 100 player in the world who just has been injured and whatever. So I kind of like that too. I think that'd be a fun one that I would get in on, much like when we bet on our very good friends at Everton Soccer a couple of years ago, because we were trying to get into the Premier League, and they were just the least exciting team to watch in the history of sport.
They defend for 80 minutes and then counter attack for 10, and they lose 1-0.
Their best prayer, dude, was to tie a game 0-0. That was like what they tried to do every game. And we were like, we're gonna hammer these guys. We're gonna take it to. They're gonna win. What do we have them to finish top 4 in the table or something? And they legit were like 11 and 12 or something, and they never scored.
Bad.
Never got. It was awful. Hopefully Doug Gim would be more exciting than that. He's rocking the old Barstool Sports alignment stick cover at Twilight, which is kind of cool. I like to see that, Doug. So yeah, he's one of our guys. Follow along with Dougie this weekend out at the Sony Open. Kiz is playing, Scott Brown's playing. So we got quite a few. There's a bunch more, obviously, but yeah, follow along. Primetime golf. It's exciting. I think that's all I got. Anybody have anything else?
Thinking about Kiz in Hawaii makes me laugh for some reason. Like, what does Kiz do in Hawaii?
Nothing.
I mean, it's one of the greatest places in the world, but Kevin Kisner doesn't seem like a Hawaii guy to me. Maybe he is. Everybody's probably a Hawaii guy to a certain degree, but Kiz just doesn't seem like a Hawaii guy.
Yeah, I think Kiz goes to Hawaii, goes to the golf course, goes back to his house, drinks a couple of like light beers, and then just gets up and does it again. And while everyone else is out snorkeling and fucking whale watching, Kiz ain't doing any of those things.
I'm picturing with like what's a hula? What do they put on?
A lei.
Oh yeah. Wearing one of those things, like with a shirt off and a beer in his hand or something like that.
Oh, see, I picture Bubba Watson doing that.
I could see kids on a porch looking at the water, just having a beer, and that mental image makes me laugh.
For whatever reason, I picture that as well, but I picture him being like a little miserable, just a little.
Gets off the plane, they lay him. He's just like, oh fuck.
Like, all right.
Course is playing soft. I don't have a shot.
I could be very wrong about that. It's just a feeling I
have. No, I don't really have anything else. I want thank you to everyone for the crazy feedback and the hype around the TaylorMade teaser. I mean, people went crazy. We we recorded that podcast before the teaser came out. So we really didn't realize how big it was. I mean, we knew it was going to be big, but I didn't realize it was going to be that big. People are going nuts. So yeah,
the reaction was incredibly positive, and I would say a lot of the stuff that we post, no matter how good it could be, it's not that positive all the time. It might be mostly positive, but you see this was like people were congratulating us like we had won something, which was, I mean, we won a sponsorship and a deal with an amazing company in golf, TaylorMade, and the fact that we are air quote sponsored athletes is laugh out loud funny, but also it is cool. It's like a culmination. It's a little bit of almost like a coronation of what we've been doing. The fact that we're able to get something like that done, and that we're now partnered with this company, and that we have access and we have clubs, and we're going to have that partnership going forward. And people actually saw that even more so than I think we would have ever guessed. And were super supportive and sending us really nice notes, and they were giddy about all of the content. I did see a lot of people responding like, when's the full video coming out? I hope that they understand that there's like 10 videos coming out. Yeah. And I think that they're going to be excited to learn that.
Yeah. There's a combination of instructional videos from the best golfers in the world with us trying to do the things that they're teaching us. And then there's also challenge videos, which we teased in the end of the video, where they're just must watch challenges. Doc Redman playing with just a driver. So it's just really good videos. DJ playing lefty, stuff that you won't see anywhere else really. And I think it's honestly this partnership, the fact that Foreplay and Barstool is partnered as sponsored athletes and a sponsored company with TaylorMade Golf is the biggest thing. A regular common man golfing podcast could possibly achieve. I just don't know. It doesn't get any crazier to me that the company, someone was like, they dropped John Rahm to have Foreplay. Like at some point, we are just in their rotation of sponsored athletes. Does anyone realize what that is? That's insane to me. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, we viewed as a B player on tour for them. What are we viewed at?
Well, right. At tournaments where they'll have the big signs and they'll have Colin Morikawa, DJ, Doc Redman, and it's just a line of TaylorMade people. I would love for our four faces to be right at the end of that at some point. Because, I guess that's the world we're living in right now. We're awful, terrible hack golfers that are sponsored by TaylorMade. It's quite incredible.
It's very cool. It is very, very cool. I saw a good amount too of tweets about would you have ever guessed when you guys started this thing years ago that you would be here? And it's no, no, not even close, not an inkling, not a fraction. And I think that we would be in a position where we're sponsored. We're arguing that we should be on the same line of fucking photos of faces at tournaments with DJ and Morikawa and Wolf and Fleetwood. No, that's crazy. So it is surreal. It's cool, man. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with TaylorMade. The fact that we have TaylorMade clubs and ball, the fact that we've got Peter Millar clothes, G4 shoes, it's crazy. It's everything that you could dream of. If it was 4 or 5 years ago, if someone said if you were going to be a golfer and you could get sponsored by a couple companies, or you could pick your sponsors, who would they be? It's those are that's exactly who I would choose. I would choose TaylorMade. I would choose Peter Millar. I would choose G4. So it's pretty sweet, and we're very appreciative. And it was cool to see people as supportive and congratulatory as they were. It was just cool that people feel like they're along for the ride, which we feel like you are as well. So for them to be that excited for us, I guess makes sense on some level, but it's very flattering. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that drives this thing is that, and I've often said this to people when we're pitching to other companies or whatever, and we're talking to people and they're trying to get a feel for our brand. I always say, like, our viewers and our listeners, they listen to our stuff because like they feel like they're there because we're just a bunch of regular fucking dudes. I'm sitting in my parents' house right now in pajama pants, like fucking just talking on a podcast, and like other people are doing that too, listening to this thing. I came from a pizzeria. You guys came from Iowa, St. Louis. Lurch is selling drones right now, and like we're just like going to TaylorMade media days and getting sponsored by TaylorMade and getting access to guys like Dustin Johnson. And he's doing stuff that common people like want to see. Like he's like talking to us in a certain way. And like, it's just a really cool look. And if I was still a viewer, which I always was a fan of Barstool, that's what I always used to do with Dave's videos, where like Dave would finally get access to like David Ortiz to do the wiffle ball contest. And I was like, holy fuck, one of our guys is in with David Ortiz. This is fucking crazy. Like, what's he going to say to him? Like, how does he act around a regular dude? Like, that's like what I was brought up on with Barstool. So it's really cool that we're able to, it's honestly stunning that I'm sitting in the chair, like being able to do that with golf, like with you guys. It's nuts. It's really crazy. Cause there's a lot of people that look at it that way where they're like, I'll never fucking talk to Dustin Johnson, but like now I get to see how he would talk to me or one of my friends or like do in our group, or, you know what I mean? Like 4-man scramble. How many arguments are like that in a group chat with buddies? Like, oh, could we fucking beat Tommy Fleetwood? And like now we just like get to do it. It's really cool.
It's very cool. And we're super appreciative. And we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff. We got a lot of opportunities now, and we're gonna be rolling out videos for the next several months. The Kingdom fitting, all the stuff with all those guys that we filmed. We're gonna be rolling out. We got more shit on our drives than you can imagine. So get excited. Go to subscribe to our YouTube because a lot of stuff goes out there. 101,000 subscribers. Congratulations to us. Big thanks to you guys. What are the names again? Do you remember the names that are supposed to go? No chance.
It was Ryan, Brian, Finnegan, Sarah, Sydney. I think that's a pretty decent amount of them that we said. We may have said a couple. Job there.
Yeah. Okay. Enjoy the Sony. Big thanks again for all the support. Keep an eye out for our videos, our content, because we got a lot of it. And
quickly, the Tiger doc. I mean, we can't not mention the Tiger doc.
We should.
I haven't watched it, so
I watched it. I watched it, and I know people are denouncing it. I know that Tiger's team is denouncing it. I know that we are denouncing it. It was still super interesting because it's like when you read Harry Potter and then watch Harry Potter as a movie. Like, it's basically based off that book with Tiger's face on it, whatever the name of that was, the Armagatan. Yeah. It was pretty cool to see like the footage of like what you've read about, and there's a couple moments in the first episode that are like chill inducing. I mean, like Tiger's life is fucking incredible. And like these moments where like Earl is saying like, I give you this gift, world, please do something good with it or whatever. And like they show a clip of Tiger just like draining putts to win Masters and stuff. It's fucking insane. Like his life, the fact that like he was this little fucking 2-year-old on national TV, and then they show he's like a 40-year-old winning at the Masters. Unbelievable, like honestly. But the next couple episodes we're just gonna skip over, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's wildly fascinating. If you're a fan of Tiger, just his upbringing, Earl, everything that everybody knows about that situation already, I think it's must watch. There's also footage that I've watched a lot of Tiger footage on YouTube, and there's some footage that I've never seen before. Like when he's dancing around his girlfriend's place from high school. Like that's all like insanely cool footage that I've never seen before. And so it's a much watch.
We'll skip over the next couple episodes, but then we'll get back onto it for the rise. But the next couple are going to be a bumpy road for sure. And I don't know how much truth there is to it. We're Tiger guys, so.
Aren't there only 2 episodes? I thought there were 2 episodes.
That's what there's 2? There's only 2 episodes?
Just 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll just skip the next one. I thought it was a 4-part series.
Episode 1. The ending of episode 1 makes a dark turn where you're just
dark.
Like, all right, we're going to get into the weeds of this thing, and I don't know if I'm ready for the weeds.
Dark and unconfirmed.
All right, so yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's a one.
Well,
episode
Tiger doesn't. Yeah,
it's a 1 episode doc. That's it.
If this thing didn't get Tiger's signature on it or approval, and that's why we don't stand by what's about to happen. We stand by his achievements, him being the greatest player of all time. But what's about to be shown is not something that. If Tiger
I'm just not interested in supporting
correct
salacious attack on one of the great figures in the history of sports.
Correct. It's time to move on. It's time to watch the Masters this year.
But if you guys want to watch, that's fine. I don't blame you.
I watched the good parts. I had happy tears at times.
That's good. That's very good. It's weird because I've gotten mixed. I obviously made a very public stand. I wasn't going to watch it. I've gotten very mixed reviews. I've gotten a lot of people that have DM'd me that have been like, fuck this. I watched it. It's the worst thing ever. I'm so mad I watched it. These scumbags. And then I've had other people text me. They're like, it's must watch. You should absolutely tune in. So I've gotten a little bit of both. I don't plan on watching it, but I might. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like the bad parts, they kind of set it up where it's like he had no other option. That's just like the way he was brought up and stuff. So that kind of like, I feel like they kind of saved themselves with that because there are parts where they're like, Tiger like didn't know anything else, didn't know any better. But then, I mean, they just dive deep into shit, which we don't like to talk about. So
my issue was like, if it was. And it is based on the book, which we talked about a lot. And we had Armin Katayan on, and I've read the book twice, but I thought that the book did a very, from what I've heard, the book overall did a very even job of kind of diving into everything. Whereas what I was upset about with the documentary was that the only new voices are on the salacious front for the most part, from what I've heard of and they're bringing in ex-girlfriends and Rachel Yucatel, who now I'm seeing quotes from her where she's like, I've only ever been known as Rachel Yucatel, comma, Tiger Woods' mistress. Well, then I see a article where it's she's dating a married guy in Florida or something and has broken up another family, and they're bringing her into that. Well, of course, these are going to be one-sided negative views on Tiger's private life, which I don't give a fuck about. When I tune in, I want to live in a bubble. When I tune in to Tiger Woods playing a golf tournament, I want that to be the most positive, rooting for that man experience in the history of the world, and I don't want anything to ruin that. So I don't give a fuck about bringing in ex-girlfriend. I read the book. Like I said, I understand Earl. I understand the family. I understand the empathetic nature in which they paint him at times. So if it's just going to be that, but they kind of go even harder on the salacious stuff, I don't need to fucking see that.
Yeah, it's true. It's crazy. He's a golfer. He's our favorite golfer. He doesn't need to talk. I don't need to watch that shit. I'm not watching the next episode.
Hell yeah. Okay. With that, again, enjoy the Sony, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.